Good morning, pilgrims.
Let's talk about the Camino Primitivo. In this video, we're going to give you a super quick guide to all the details you need to walk this route.
We're going to talk about the total distance, how many days it takes, how difficult it is, what you're going to see along the way, accommodation, crowds, all the essentials. But since this video is supposed to be quick, let's dive straight into it so you have everything you need to know about the Camino Primitivo. I'm Sean.
And I'm Lainey, and this is Days We Spend.
Here are some quick facts about the Camino Primitivo. The route officially starts in Oviedo and walks 320 kilometers to Santiago de Compostela.
The Camino Primitivo joins with the Camino Frances in Melide. And from there, the last 2 days or so, you're going to be walking on the Camino Frances to Santiago de Compostela. You're going to walk through the mountains of Asturias and Galicia.
Camino Primitivo typically takes between 12 and 14 days, so it's a great route if you don't have a whole month to walk the Camino Frances. If you walk the Camino Primitivo in 12 days, it's a little bit under 27 kilometers a day. If you walk it in 2 weeks, it's closer to 23 kilometers.
The difficulty level is medium high because there's some really steep sections as well as you're traversing some mountains. So you will be dealing with a little bit of altitude and weather variation.
Some history and background of the Camino Primitivo.
This is the original pilgrim route. Primitivo means first, not primitive. Its origins begin when King Alfonso II of Asturias heard about the discovery of the tomb of Santiago in the 9th century, and shortly after, he made the journey from Oviedo to Santiago de Compostela. And to this day, we're still following some of those original tracks based on historical records. Let's talk about the highlights of the Camino Primitivo. We're going to pass through 2 major cities of Oviedo and Lugo. They're both beautiful, historical, and worth spending a few days in each of them.
Historical landmarks along the Camino Primitivo include the Cathedral of San Salvador. This is the official starting point of the Camino Primitivo in Oviedo. Beautiful cathedral. You can even see one of the original pieces of the shroud, similar to the Shroud of Turin. The Roman walls surrounding Lugo are another historical landmark. They're the only intact Roman walls in Spain.
They're over 2 kilometers of walls, and you can walk around the whole thing, and it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. There's also a really beautiful cathedral in Lugo as well.
But one of the main reasons that people love to walk the Camino Primitivo is the nature and beautiful views. It's got high landscape value, mountain views, vistas, alpines. It is a very green, very beautiful walk.
There's a couple famous sections of that for nature, which is the Hospitales route. You're going over a mountain pass, and there's medieval pilgrim albergue ruins on that route as well.
You're also crossing the famous Grandas de Salime Reservoir, which is a really beautiful body of water and an interesting dam and viewpoint.
The Camino Primitivo has some of the best food of all the Camino routes because you're going through Asturias and Galicia, which are known for just delicious food in Spain.
Cider is something that Asturians do very well. Enjoy it with the tall pour that they do there. Also, the local cheeses are off the charts.
In Oviedo, you can go to Calle Gascona and you can enjoy all the different siderias and get some cider, get some cheese. Our favorite cheeses are the Cabrales and the Afuegal Pitu. You can also have some cachopo or fabada in Asturias. And don't miss out on getting some carballones, which are the local sweet of Oviedo.
It's a little pastry. It's like a little donut.
In Galicia, you'll want to look for queso de arzua and some pulpo.
So how do you actually get to Oviedo to start the Camino Primitivo? You can fly into Oviedo at Asturias OVD Airport. It's a pretty small regional airport, so you might want to fly into Madrid and take the high-speed rail, which is about 3.5 hours from Madrid to Oviedo. They just opened it up. It's a great way to get there.
It's the Renfe line, and it costs anywhere from 17 euros to 100 euros, depending on when you buy your ticket and what time of day that ticket is. And you can usually buy tickets about a month or 3 weeks in advance of the trip. You can also take a bus from any location in Spain, and we recommend Alsa bus because it has the most options to get to Oviedo. It's going to be a little slower than the train, but it's going to be significantly cheaper, and you can start in a lot of different destinations rather than just Madrid. Where can you get the Pilgrim credential for the Camino Primitivo? If you're in Oviedo, you can get this at the tourism office. You can also get it at the Municipal Albergue El Salvador in Oviedo. That's where we got ours. You can also get it at the Cathedral of San Salvador in Oviedo.
Which you should see anyway.
They have a Pilgrim discount. Which guidebooks should you use for this route? We recommend the apps Buen Camino de Santiago app, which is a free download. We also like the Wise Pilgrim Primitivo app. There's another option called Camino Tool. We haven't used it, but it's got great reviews online. We like granze.com, which is a Spanish website with all the different Camino routes, and you can just look it up in your browser, so you don't have to download an app, but you will have to translate that to English if you don't speak Spanish. Granze also has a map app, which is pretty good and has GPS, and that's a free download as well. There's a guidebook that we really love too, and it's called the Camino Primitivo Oviedo de Santiago Village to Village Map Guide. We like this book because it's really small and has really nice pictures, and the pages are really easy to read. Our friend had this book, which is why I don't have it here, and we borrowed it from them.
Like we said, the Camino Primitivo is quite a well-traveled route, so there are a number of both public and private accommodation options along most of the route.
Is there flexibility in the stages? Yes and no. It depends on your budget. If your budget is higher and you can stay in casa rurals or more expensive pensions, you can make this route have as short of days as you want. But if you are someone who is more on a budget and you're looking for more of those municipal albergues, then you are really set on some of the longer stage days. So how to find and book accommodation? You can use booking.com to find some of the options that are on there. You can also use your guidebooks and the apps to find the contact information of the albergues, and you can either call them or use WhatsApp.
If you haven't downloaded WhatsApp, please download it, get familiar with it, because everyone uses WhatsApp on the Camino. So when should you book accommodation on the Primitivo? We recommend booking about 3 days ahead of where you are. Obviously, you can book the whole thing in advance, but we don't recommend it because your plans and speed might change.
You can do this without reservations or book something the day of, but we don't often recommend that on this route because the stages are fairly set and there's sometimes some limited options in certain sections.
So how well serviced is the Camino Primitivo? Do you have access to the things that you need most days? Yes. Although there are a few days where you'll need to pack food, we always recommend bringing snacks no matter what Camino you're on. But there's 1 or 2 days where you're going to need to bring like lunch.
Picnic lunch.
Most towns with albergues will have a small cafe or restaurant, and you can get groceries at bodegas or larger grocery stores along the way.
Every few days, there's a town with a pharmacy, but you are going through some remote mountain sections on this route, so we still recommend a fairly robust first aid kit.
Most of the albergues will help you arrange luggage transfer if that's something that you are interested in.
There's 2 companies, Correos and Pilbeo, that we've heard exist, and it's about €8 a day to ship your bag.
And taxis are generally available in every town with signposts along the way with taxi numbers.
Let's talk about seasonality and when is the best time to walk the Camino Primitivo. It's a fairly popular route, and in 2024, about 25,000 people walked this route. You can see from this graph that most people walked in August, but the months of May, June, and July are also very popular.
We don't recommend walking the Camino Primitivo in the shoulder seasons outside of those times because availability to the services and albergues might be more limited. You're going through the mountains of Asturias and Galicia, and we've experienced it firsthand. The weather can change very quickly. So hiking in the winter or the late fall or even the early spring will require bringing different amounts of gear to stay safe on the exposed mountain trails.
Now for weather, as Sean mentioned, it's green Spain, so expect some rain no matter when you're walking this route. And if you're walking this in winter, you might get some snow. Accommodation is available generally all year round, but if you're walking anywhere from November to February or March, we recommend making sure you call ahead to make sure those albergues are open and expecting you.
And by calling ahead, we mean even with a reservation, call ahead to confirm that they're open and that they still have your reservation.
Alternatives and variants. Now, here's some fun stuff. There is a famous split where you have to choose to walk either the Hospitales or the
Pola de Allende route.
The biggest reason to walk the Hospitales is it's historical and beautiful, but it's hard. You're climbing a lot and you hope you get good views. So if the weather is bad, even slightly bad, we do not recommend this route. It also is a really long day of no services. So if you don't want to walk a long day, we definitely recommend the other option.
Many people walk the Pola de Allende route
because you can stay in Pola and have 2 shorter days. Now, the actual elevation gain and loss of these 2 routes is about the same because Pola you are going to descend to it and then you have to climb back up. And that climb is apparently really, really nasty. We didn't do this option, but we've heard many people who love the variant through Pola, and Pola is a very charming town.
It's not about one day being harder or easier. It's about a different view.
If you don't want to join with the Camino Frances in Melide, there's a not as well traveled alternative that you can take. It's a few kilometers after Lugo. You can take a variant to Sobrado dos Montes, which is on the Camino del Norte. And so you'll join the Norte, and from the Norte, there's another option where you can take a variant, so you won't have to join the Camino Frances until Lavacoya.
Obviously, the Camino Primitivo officially starts in Oviedo, but if you're walking the Camino Norte and you want to mix it up and join this very classic route, it's about 3 days from Villa Viciosa, which means vicious village. And it's a pretty seamless detour with well-marked trails to join the Primitivo from the Norte. So that is a crash course in the Camino Primitivo. You're super ready to walk it now.
If you want a more detailed look at this route, we have a whole series of vlogs that you can watch, as well as some packing list. We walked this route in May, and it was a great time to do it. Again, though, a little bit crowded, but that was part of the fun. So we hope you have a really great time when you walk the Camino Primitivo. If you have any more questions, please put them in the comments below, and make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. You can also join our new memberships. That link is in the description as well. And follow us on Instagram, because whenever we walk a Camino, we always post daily stories for you to follow along.
Buen Camino, pilgrims.
Thank you for spending your day with us.